Hello class, this week's video discussion is on dissertation research, and for this discussion I found two dissertations that I found very useful. To find them I used the ProQuest Dissertations and Thesis global portal, and like I said, these two dissertations, they really caught my attention. I've always been enthralled with the exploits of Napoleon Bonaparte and the historical impact that he played on France and the entire world, not only during his time in power, but also beyond. One of the most contentious ideas in Europe throughout the first half of the 19th century was the concept of the great man. The great man theory is a school of thought within the study of history, originating in the 19th century, that holds that history can be mostly interpreted as the impact and influence of great men or heroic figures who possessed exceptional abilities. That thesis is largely credited to Thomas Carlyle, a Scottish writer, historian, and philosopher who presented a series of lectures on heroism in 1840, which were eventually published as On Heroes, Hero Worship, and the Heroic in History. The inspiration, of course, was Napoleon's commanding universal presence, whose exploits and triumphs were often likened to those of Alexander the Great and Caesar. The controversy did not expire during Napoleon's exile or after his death. On the contrary, Napoleon's standing as modern history's great man or unique figure grew after his death and was maintained not just by many of his followers, but also by many who were ambivalent about his accomplishments and persona. One of the dissertations that I examined was titled Meteors That Enlighten the Earth, Napoleon and the Cult of Great Men by Matthew Donald Zarzekny. Zarzekny's dissertation serves as a further exploration of the cult of great men, including its place in Napoleonic and European history and the alleged efforts of its members to enlighten the earth. In his dissertation, he examines not only how Napoleon looked to great men of the past, Caesar, Alexander the Great, and Charlemagne were three examples, and emulated their past efforts and glories, but fostered his own status as a great man of history, and those around him through art, monuments, and honorary awards. Three examples that come to mind are the Arc de Triomphe, the Legion of Honor, and the Temple to the Glory of the Grand Army. Zarzekny's dissertation was later published in book form in 2013 by Cambridge Scholars Publishing. The second dissertation that I examined is titled The Genesis of Napoleonic Propaganda, 1796 to 1799, by Wayne M. Hanley. It goes together with the first by showing how Napoleon mastered propaganda to fulfill his quest to become a great man in the eyes of not only his soldiers and fellow countrymen, but also people around the globe. Hanley is currently the editor-in-chief of Napoleonic Scholarship, the Journal of the International Napoleonic Society, and a professor of history at Westchester University. And I included a quote from the dissertation, quote, "Although other historical figures had manipulated various media for political gain, Napoleon Bonaparte was the first non-monarch in modern times to realize the limitless possibilities of propaganda," end quote. Hanley later published his dissertation in book form as well. His was published in 2005 by Columbia University Press. Here was a Caesar, when comes such another? Mark Antony concludes his famous funeral oration from Shakespeare's The Tragedy of Julius Caesar. Napoleon was not only a modern great man of history and a spiritual heir to Caesar, but also a master of self-promotion and propaganda. When I write my dissertation, I would like to build off these two historians' research into the aura that Napoleon created for himself. Thank you very much for watching this video, and God bless.